Hello friends, today we are going to study heat treatment processes. Casting is a manufacturing technique which, in which metals are melted and they are poured in predetermined shaped mold, and after solidification that castings are broken from mold and castings are taken out. So sometimes that castings doesn't possess some required mechanical properties, and that mechanical properties can be achieved by carrying out different kinds of heat treatment processes. So what kind of different heat treatment processes are carried out on casting, that we will study here in this unit. So in this unit we are going to cover different heat treatment processes like annealing, normalizing, hardening. Every heat treatment has its own classification. So annealing are further classified as full annealing, partial annealing, subcritical annealing, normalizing, hardening. So in this particular bit or unit we will study what is a kind of heat treatment process, what is the purpose of carrying out heat treatment process, and what are their applications. So normally heat treatment processes are classified according to their nature of carrying out heat treatment. So they are classified as bulk heat treatment and surface heat treatments. Sometimes in bulk heat treatment the entire casting is subjected to undergo heat treatment process, but in case of surface heat treatment process only the outer surface or part of only casting is subjected to heat treatment, so that at that particular location only mechanical properties can be altered. So in bulk heat treatment processes they are further classified as annealing, normalizing, hardening and tempering. So every heat treatment process gives a different kind of mechanical properties. So annealing are further classified as full annealing, stress relief annealing, recrystallization annealing, spheroidization annealing, diffusion annealing, partial annealing and process annealing. Then surface treatment heat treatment processes are further classified as thermal and thermochemical processes. So in thermal heat treatment processes or surface heat treatment processes only outer surface is heated and subjected to heating and cooling cycle. But in case of thermochemical processes outer surfaces are heated in a carbonaceous or nitrogenous material, and because of formation of that respective carbides and nitrides hard outer surface is achieved. So we will study one by one different heat treatment processes. Firstly we will study in annealing, then we will study normalizing heat treatment process. Annealing is a most versatile heat treatment process with a number of objectives. The property of steel are subjected or changed by heating and cooling under definite condition. The objective of heat treatment is to make steel suitable for specific application. For example, a shear blade must have its structural controlled to produce just the right combination of hardness, wear resistance and toughness for it to successfully cut other metals. So this is one kind of example where very high toughness is required, and that toughness can be achieved by carrying out a annealing heat treatment process. So this process has following steps like heating. Heating is carried out above A3 temperature or AC1 temperature depending upon what kind of steel is going to be heat treated. So hypoeutected steels are normally heated above AC3 temperature, and hypereutected steels are heated above AC1 temperature, that is lower critical temperature, and that temperature is more than 30 to 50 degrees Celsius of that lower or upper critical temperature, followed by holding at that particular temperature for a definite period of time. So that time is depending upon section thickness of casting. So 20 minutes per centimeter thickness is the empirical relation for holding the castings for that particular temperature till complete homogenization of austenite will takes place, and followed by slow cooling to below A1 temperature and further to room temperature. Usually this process is carried out in furnace. So normally furnace cooling is carried out, and that treatment is called as annealing treatment. So due to slow cooling, eutectoid transformation occurs nearly in accordance to iron carbon phase diagram, and that can be well studied by over iron carbide phase diagram and also a TTT diagram. So this graph shows three different types of annealing heat treatment processes. So it is actually a graph of temperature versus time, and these two lines indicates lower critical temperature of 723 degrees Celsius and upper critical temperature of a range of temperature of 723 to 910 in case of hypo-eutectoid steel, and 723 to 1153 for hyper-eutectoid steels. So in case of full annealing, castings are heated above A3 temperature, then they are holded for some time followed by very slow cooling. So this kind of heat treatment is called as full annealing. Then in case of partial annealing heat treatment, castings are heated in between upper critical and lower critical temperature till this temperature, holding followed by slow cooling. And in case of subcritical temperature, as the name implies, castings are heated below lower critical temperature, that is subcritical temperature, followed by holding and very slow cooling. So that will carry out a subcritical annealing. In all these kind of annealing heat treatment processes, ductility is going to be increased and hardness is going to be decreased. Depending upon temperature up to which steels are heated, annealing can be further classified into full annealing, partial annealing and subcritical annealing that we have studied in earlier slide. So purpose of carrying out annealing heat treatment is to relieve internal stresses induced due to cold working, welding or casting solidification. These internal stresses are not desired properties because of their leading to premature failure of casting after assembly, sudden and brittle failure of component, that is catastrophic failure. They also decrease corrosion resistance. Then to reduce mechanical properties like strength and hardness. Then to make material soft and increase its ductility and malleability so that easy machining is carried out. Then to increase the uniformity of phase distribution and to make the material more isotropic with respect to mechanical properties. So to make complete uniform distribution of grain size, annealing heat treatment is carried out. To make material homogeneous with respect to chemical composition, annealing treatment is carried out. To increase machinability, periodization annealing treatment is carried out. To improve electrical and magnetic property also, castings are heated above A3 temperature followed by holding and very slow cooling. To make steel more suitable for subsequent heat treatment processes like hardening. So this will make easy conversion of austenite into martensite. To make steel suitable for subsequent forming operations like rolling, drawing, that is deep drawing operation or wire drawing operation. So you can see here the annealing is a very versatile heat treatment process which will alter mechanical properties like ductility. So this graph indicates different temperature zones, that is heating temperature zones for different kind of annealing heat treatment processes. So it is a portion of steel iron carbon phase diagram. It is 0.8% carbon steel here. So mostly hypo-eutectoid steels are heated above A3 temperature in case of full annealing heat treatment. So this dotted portion indicates heating zone for full annealing of hypo-eutectoid steels, and full annealing of hyper-eutectoid steel is normally above A1 temperature. So this dotted portion is here. So by just observing this figure, you can get idea regarding up to how much temperature casting should be heated, held for some time and followed by slow cooling. So in case of diffusion annealing, the temperature is somewhat higher than A3 temperature, that is upper critical temperature, and this temperature is this annealing kind of heat treatment is also called as homogenization annealing. Then in periodization annealing, the castings are heated and cooled at A1 temperature. Subsequently, heating, cooling, periodic cyclic operation is carried out, followed by slow cooling. So this will carry out a spheroidizing annealing. Then for process annealing, recrystallization annealing and stress relief annealing, the heating zones or heating temperature zones are well below the subcritical temperatures. So by studying this figure, we can get idea regarding heat, how till how much temperature casting should be heated. Then in homogenization or diffusion annealing, castings are heated well above A3 temperature, or that is upper critical temperature, and that temperature is in the range of 1000 to 1000 degrees Celsius, followed by prolonged holding. So that will carry out complete 100% homogenization, followed by furnace cooling. Then in diffusion annealing, this process also known as homogenizing annealing is employed to remove any structural and composition non-uniformity. In diffusion annealing treatment, steels are heated sufficiently above upper critical temperature, and they are held for some temperature time interval for usually 10 to 20 hours, followed by furnace cooling. So these segregated zones are eliminated and chemically homogeneous coarser grain like structure is observed. In case of hypo-eutectoid and eutectoid steels, castings are given full annealing treatment, whereas hyper-eutectoid steels castings are either normalized or partially annealed for their purpose. So these then in case of full annealing, the steels are heated above A3 temperature for hypo-eutectoid steels and above A1 temperature in case of hyper-eutectoid steels. The reason behind holding hyper-eutectoid steels above A1 temperature only is there is a presence of cementite phase, and as the cementite is very hard phase, the purpose of carrying out annealing, that is increasing ductility, cannot be achieved. So only this is the reason why hyper-eutectoid steels are heated above only A1 temperature. So this will form coarser pearlite, which reduces hardness and increases ductility. Hyper-eutectoid steels are not heated above ACM temperature, they are heated above only A1 temperature to avoid continuous network of pro-eutectoid cementite along grain boundaries. So this ultimately will be increasing hardness and will be reducing ductility. So because of heating, full annealing castings of hyper-eutectoid steels above A3 temperature, what kind of structural changes are observed? This is shown by this figure. Because of heating above A3 temperature up to this temperature, complete homogeneous austenitic structure is formed. Then because of very slow cooling, ferrite starts precipitating at the grain boundaries because of slower cooling. So this temperature zone may be up to A3 to A1. Because of slower cooling in between this A3 and A1 temperature, there will be precipitation of ferrite at the grain boundaries, and with further slow cooling, transformation of austenite to pearlite takes place, that is the eutectoid transformation takes place. So this full annealing is actually well explained over iron carbon phase diagram. Very slow cooling will transform austenite into very fine or coarser pearlitic structure. This microstructure of ferrite network at grain boundary will render steel soft and ductile, fulfilling the purpose of annealing, that is increasing the ductility. Then isothermal annealing, this process is actually shown on TTT diagram. The red color indicates a normal, green color kind of cooling rate indicates a conventional annealing kind of heat treatment where castings are heated above upper critical temperature, holded for some time, followed by very slow cooling. But this red color heat treatment indicates a isothermal annealing treatment, where castings are rapidly cooled below lower critical temperature, then they are held for some time so that complete pearlitic structure is formed, and then they are cooled with very slow cooling rate, and that rate of cooling is very less as compared to conventional annealing kind of heat treatment. So that will reduce heat treatment timing also. Time required for carrying out isothermal annealing is very less as compared to a conventional annealing heat treatment. Then spherodizing annealing. This process consists of alternate heating and cooling across A1, that is lower critical temperature, or prolonged holding. Because of this, cemented platelets are converted into cemented spheroids to increase their machinability and ductility. These are used in case of higher carbon steels requiring extensive machining prior to final grind hardening and tempering operation. This spheroidized structure is desirable when minimum hardness, maximum ductility, or maximum machinability is important property. Then partial annealing, it is also referred to as intercritical annealing or incomplete annealing. In this kind of heat treatment, steels are heated in between A1 and A3 temperature followed by slow cooling. Generally, hyper-eutectored steels are subjected to this partial annealing heat treatment. This resultant microstructure consists of fine pearlitic structure along with cemented. The reason for this is that grain refinement takes place at the temperature of about 10 to 30 degrees Celsius above A1 temperature. As slow temperature is involved in this process, it is cost effective as compared to full annealing kind of heat treatment. Stress relief annealing. Because of thermal gradient generated in casting solidification, stresses are induced, and these stresses can be released from casting by carrying out this relief annealing treatment. Castings are heated well below lower critical temperature in the temperature zone of up to 300 to 500 degrees Celsius. So during cold working, internal stresses are developed due to non-uniform deformation. This process consists of heating steel to temperature in the range of 200 to 400 degrees Celsius, followed by holding and very slow cooling.